Presentation, making your introduction. Presenting for success, Unit 1, making your introduction. Today we look at some of the language used during internal presentations. To start off this episode, I asked some of my colleagues what tips they might have for making a good introduction. Learning that we had the main dialogue and then the debrief. So hear me put in my college right on the spot. Okay, we're talking about presentation and in particular introduction to presentation tips. Do you have any guidelines you use when you're writing, preparing, or actually doing an introduction? It is something that you always keep in mind and say, well, this is what I always do and must do. Well, in English, we talk about something called an elevator pitch, which is like a summary of proposal or an idea that takes maybe no more than 10 or 50 seconds to explain. The idea is that it should be short enough that you can actually key it to somebody in an elevator just in that very brief period of time that you have their attention. Now, I think when you begin in a presentation, in some ways you in the same situation, you may be planning to give a very long speech. It could last 30 or 50 minutes, but you only got that first minute or so convince people that they ought to be listening to what you're going to say. So you got to give them some good reasons to listen to everything else that coming up. Give them an idea of what you're going to say and why they should be listening. Do you have a formula, Peter? I do. If you don't, please tell me. Let me get my pen. Well, I got this formula from the 7th school a long time ago, and it's pretty good. It has all the elements I think should be in every presentation, whether it's formal or informal. Okay, well, you tell us your name. Well, first of all, a greeting. You have to say hi. I think you should always start with thank you or welcome. I think thank or hello, thank you and welcome. Well, why don't we put them on hello, thank you and welcome to whatchamacallit. You can put them all together. Yeah, put them all together one package and then a name. I think it's helpful if you not to tell people exactly who you are and your title, what your job is, or what you are qualified to speak on the subject. And that's a good point. A lot of internal presentation these days done over the telephone conference or video conference, and you got people from different the telephone conference and you got people from different international locations. They might have heard your name, but they might not know your face. And so when you get up to speak, even within your company and even maybe your division or your department, it's as you say good manners. But also it's important, I think a lot of the listeners on this podcast, they themselves are very accomplished speakers in their own language, and so I'm sure they know how to make a speak or presentation, and hopefully through this podcast will give this speaker and other the idea of how the type of language we use in the presentation and in speaker we use in presentation and in particular introduction on this particular podcast. Okay, everybody, let's all take a seat and getting started. We have long day ahead of us and we need to keep the schedule, so let's see how our video conference line is working. Hello Sunny and New York. Can both you hear us and see us okay? Yes, Brady. We have a close sales group here. Everything working okay and we ready when you are. Loud and clear here in New York to Brady. Okay, then let's link up this morning in the type from Consumer Product Division, and he be presenting some updated sales figure and trends for our product line. In this very case setter, below if you ready, play technical way. Thank you, Brady, and good morning, everybody. A warm welcome from our Paris office, whether you are in person or here via video from Sydney or New York. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Grota, senior sales analyst from our consumer product division. I'll be presenting our analysis of recent sales data. We will then summarize some important trends and conclusions we can make about the growth of our product line. After that, we plan to look at some forecasts and proposal sales strategy to adjust to the change which see developing during case of meeting. We hope to arrive at some recommendations to forward to senior management before their next shareholder meeting. And finally, we often it's up to any questions you might have about sales in general, whether it concerns the AO, the America, or the Asia Pacific region. I estimate my preparing mask will cover about 30 minutes, and the next 30 minutes will be dedicated to answering your questions. Hopefully, you will receive the hangout material I think, but I also be showing the chart in PowerPoint in case you don't have material I send, but I also be showing the chart in PowerPoint in case you have you don't have material or you don't have your handouts view. So let's take a look at our first topic, which yes, you have a questions. Yes, sorry to interrupt us. Wondering if you plan to talk about global marketing effort and how they tie into recession sales promotion. Building up a spirit of teamwork in our interim meeting is very important, especially during the introduction stage of presentation. Personality plays a part, but some simple language partner to have you pronounce such as we, as us, RR, and everybody as much as possible. For example, when starting a meeting, we can well why don't we all get started? Let's all take our seat if we could. Is everybody ready to start? Okay, let's get this meeting up. The introduction page sets the tone and expectation of meeting or presentation. Under every often the presenter will introduce him or herself to the audience. Sometimes other person may introduce the speaker, as in our example where the presenter was introduced by the chairperson of the telecom conference. A complete introduction for presentation includes the following: the greeting, a name, a position, the title, and suggest the objectives or goals of the presentation, the main part of the talk. A mention of the visual aids that will be used. The term is will take when questions should be asked. The reference to the audience and link to the first section of the presentation. Not all presentation introduction will have every one of these elements, and not all will follow this sequence. However, small proper introductions will use a majority of these elements in some form and in this general sequence. Let's start with some greeting. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to the North American division. Welcome all of you to the Smith Center. Thank you all for coming this evening to our first employee benefits review. The name and position of the presenter usually flow. If the presenter is well known among the audience, he may not even mention his own name. It's more of the people Now the present, they may process their self-introduction with for those of you who don't know me. However, when presenting in front of large or widely separated department, it is customary to introduce yourself with not only your own full name but your title and area of responsibility. This tells audience member who you are, what your position is, and what sort of knowledge or duty you have concerning the presentation, such as let's some names and title. My name is and I'm the HR management for UK operations, and I am a tech engineer for the QC department. My name is Alison White, and I'm the HR management for our UK operation. I'm third year and I'm a test engineer with quality control. When you introducing what duty or area of knowledge, we usually use the word I am responsible for or I am in charge of. Let's just some of these. I'm responsible for new employee training. I'm in charge of test data collection. I'm responsible for designing new electrical switches. By combining of the appropriate phrases into complete introductory statement that include name, title, and area of responsibility. For example, taking the first phrase of each part, we could say good morning everybody, my name is Alison White. I'm the HR management for our London division and I'm responsible for new employee training. After this, introduce yourself and state your responsibility at your company. Then listen to answer example answer to compare. Of course, the detail of any one answer will be a little different. Good morning everybody, my name is Alison White. I'm the HR manager for our London division and I'm responsible for new employee training. After the presenter introduces himself and his position, the subject of the presentation is then usually stated along with the purpose of the presentation. About this time, the presentation will then include the guide of the rest of the talk. The presenter will tell the audience what is to come, what part of the presentation will be presented, in which order this is called supporting. Like the sign on the stage corner that tells traveler where he is and where he's going. Supposing you have to focus the audience attention. We will cover supporting in the next podcast.